Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Let's start out by saying it's about time that several attorneys general are putting pressure on FedEx and UPS. And before I jump into it, if you think the Second Amendment is more important than tracking or going around a warrant requirement by using shipping companies, then smash that like and that subscribe button down below. Subscribing to this channel gets the voice out. You liking and sharing the video helps the information get out of this YouTube anti-gun algorithm. So for the Second Amendment's sake, subscribe to the channel. Now, a couple days ago, I did a video on Attorney General Austin Knudsen in Montana penning a letter to YouTube, putting them on notice about violating the rights of Second Amendment channels, Second Amendment YouTube and channels and content creators. And that video went over pretty well, so well that the press secretary for AG Knudsen's office in Montana reached out. And Miss Emily, thank you. I want to acknowledge you. Thank you very much for reaching out and the kind things you said. So I am here to tell you what AG Knudsen did yesterday. He was joined by several attorneys general. I'll let you see all of them here in a second. But they're reaching out and they're demanding that FedEx and UPS answer some questions that have to do with all of their new policy changes that have made it impossible for companies to ship items the way they used to ship items. Let's get into this letter here on the screen. Now, these letters were sent to FedEx and UPS, and we'll read the FedEx letter here. It says, I, along with 17 other state attorneys general, write to request information about FedEx's updated terms of service for gun store owners. In recent weeks, several Montanans who hold federal firearms licenses, FFLs, have reached out to my office with concerns about your company's updated policies. Specifically, they allege that the new regulations allow your company to track firearm sales with unprecedented specificity and bypass warrant requirements to share that information with federal agencies. According to these reports, FedEx now requires FFL holders to create 3 separate shipping accounts, one for firearms, one for firearm parts, and one for all other firearm-related products. Under this 3-tier system, gun sellers cannot mix and match shipments, which reveals to your company whether they are shipping a gun part, or a gun-related item. In addition to creating 3 distinct shipping groups, FedEx now apparently demands that gun store owners retain documents about what specific items those shipments contain and make that information available to FedEx upon request. These demands, in tandem, allow FedEx to create a database of American gun purchasers and determine exactly what items they purchased. Perhaps most concerning, your policies allegedly allow FedEx to comply with requests from applicable law enforcement or other government authorities, even when those requests are inconsistent or contrary to any applicable law, rule, regulation, or order. In doing so, you, perhaps inadvertently, give federal agencies a workaround to federal law, which has long prevented federal agencies from using gun sales to create gun registries. But under these policies, FedEx can provide information at will or upon request to federal agencies, information detailing which Americans are buying what guns. Finally, I've received reports that your new firearm shipping agreement contains a gag clause. Specifically, your company allegedly instructs gun store owners that the agreement is confidential and shall be held in strict confidence by both parties and may not be disclosed unless required by law. Of course, this is very disturbing. I would like to provide FedEx the opportunity to clarify these reports or provide any explanation for them. Specifically, I'd like FedEx to provide a copy of these agreements to our offices and answer the following questions. 1. Did FedEx enact these policies with the goal of information sharing with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives or any other federal agency? Did FedEx enact these policies at the request of officials in ATF, a different federal agency, or on its own initiative? If FedEx implemented these policies at the request of a federal agency, please identify that agency, the officials who made that request, the nature of that communication, and any legal authorization cited by those officials. If FedEx changes policies on its own initiative, please explain why it made those changes. Did FedEx communicate or coordinate with United Parcel Service, that's UPS, in making these changes? Did ATF or other federal agency employees help draft the updated shipping agreements? If your shipping agreement does contain a gag clause, please explain the purpose of that clause and whether you intend it to prevent an investigation into the legality of the agreement. Within 30 days of this letter's date, please provide our offices with a copy of your updated shipping agreement along with answers to the questions above. Additionally, I recommend that you consider taking actions to limit potential liability moving forward, including the immediate cessation of any existing warrantless information sharing with federal agencies about gun shipments. Sincerely, Austin Knutson, who's the AG of Montana, Steve Marshall of Alabama, Theodore Rotika of Indiana, Greg Taylor of Alaska, Derek Schmidt of Kansas, Leslie Rutledge of Arkansas, Daniel Cameron of Kentucky, Ashley Moody of Florida, Jeff Landry of Louisiana, Lynn Fitch of Mississippi, Ken Paxton of Texas, John Formella of New Hampshire, Sean Reyes of Utah, John O'Connor of Oklahoma, Pat Morrissey of West Virginia, Dave Yost of Ohio, Bridget Hill of Wyoming, and Alan Wilson of South Carolina. I'm glad this is going on. I'm glad this is happening because it has to happen. These companies have changed everything in order to make it almost impossible for companies to ship things to customers. These things are lawful, legal items being sold legally, being purchased legally, and they're exercising some type of, puppetry control that they think they have. Now, the letter to UPS is basically the same, and if you want, I will link these letters down below. If you want to use them for information, or you want to maybe talk to your attorney general if they're not on there, because I know there are more pro 2A attorneys general than these 17 folks, but good on these 17 folks for jumping on this and putting pressure on these companies who are violating the rights of people and helping the ATF by making their own gun registry, which they're going to give to them at, whenever. Just, hey, look, this is everything that was bought by this person, and these are the days, and this is where it came from. Unconstitutional and illegal according to federal law, but here we are. Guys and gals, let me know what you think down below, please. And to Attorney General Knutson and his staff over there, you're doing a good job related to the Second Amendment, and Montanan residents need to take note. Again, guys and gals, if the Second Amendment means something to you, if you want to know more about the attack on our rights that never ends, subscribe to Guns and Gadgets down below. And until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. I'll see you in the next one, y'all. Take care.